A disability is a physical or mental condition that limits a person's movements, senses, or activities. While we all have limitations, the American with Disabilities Act defines a person with a disability as a person who has a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activity. While disabilities have limited people in the past, new attitudes, medical advancements, and technology have eased the difficulty for many. Of course, there are still many hurdles and challenges. We wanted to find stories across the country that featured a change in the way disabilities are treated and the people who are creating no limits in their lives. We start our journey in the heart of Santa Clarita, California. Just 30 minutes north of downtown Los Angeles, the city boasts year-round fun, abundant sunshine, a unique blend of upscale sophistication, and small-town charm. Six Flags Magic Mountain is a tourist staple of Santa Clarita, attracting thousands of guests every day. The Novine family is at home here. Let's take a look at their lives.
All right, are you ready?
Yeah.
This is 8-year-old Brady Novine. Brady has been affected by a rare form of dwarfism called metatrophic dysplasia. This disability is so rare that there have been less than 100 documented cases in medical history.
We talk about a family tradition.
This form of dwarfism affects the individual's growth, creating a short stature and short arms and legs. Brady was diagnosed with metatrophic dysplasia at only 16 months old. But since he has always known life with this disability, he has learned how to overcome it on a daily basis.
Hey, Brady, come do your homework, babe.
The Brady way.
Do I have to do it?
Well, I mean, as a parent, you never want your child in pain, but it's that balance between, doing what your child needs, what your child needs. I mean, he needed the surgery. His back was so hunched over. I mean, he was so hunched over forward that his rib cage was actually overlapping, and then that was affecting his heart and lung development. So, it's not a function of what you want as a parent, but what you need to do and what you have to do. And so, it's hard seeing your child in pain or hanging from metal traction and all of those kinds of things. But in the long run, I mean, to improve his quality of life long term and to make sure that his heart and lungs develop properly, that's, it's what you had to do. Once Brady got to be about 6.5, Dr. McKenzie let us know that, it was time. His spine was just so curved at that point and so misshapen. He was afraid that it was going to start putting pressure on his actual spinal cord and affecting his neurofunction, his nervous system. So we scheduled the appointments at the end of his second grade year, right after he turned 7. We flew to Delaware and did, it's a 2-part surgery, but basically, we put the rods in at that point.
Here we go. So Brady has a genetic abnormality, and it's in a gene called TRPV4. And it results in the formation of bones, which are different from yours and mine. He has shorter bones. The bones are wider around the joints, and the vertebral bodies that make up his spine are very flat and narrow, and there's a very narrow spinal canal. And that results in an individual that's short and can have quite severe spine deformity and problems with short limbs as well as joint abnormalities. There's a wide variation of severity. So some of these kids can have very few problems, and some can have many problems that make it difficult for them to walk.
Despite Brady's disability, he still loves participating in outdoor activities. One of his favorites is hiking at the local climbing trails.
When I started hiking, I was like 6 or 7. It was like 5. I was like 5 or 6, and my dad took me to Vasquez.
We'll go out to Vasquez Rocks and try to climb up to the top of the rocks. We'll go to Whitney Canyon and walk around Placerita Canyon and see the stuff. And so he's been a lot better, I think, since his surgery. It's one of the things I think before he was pitched over so much that his legs would get tired a lot more often. But I would say since he's had his surgery, like he's really keeps up with me. He'll do 3-4 miles, no problem.
Like I kind of like going along trails because they have a lot of them, and the last trail I went on wasn't that long, but it was kind of long. And I like to look for animals and like climb things. It's kind of like Vasquez Rocks. It's like my favorite hiking place because it has a lot of rocks that you can climb.
You know, just it's not what he can't do, it's always what he can do, right? You can go walking, we'll go for, you know, scooter rides. The stuff we do is to try to keep him moving, to try to keep Brady out there, and so, you know, certainly hiking, the swimming, and everything like that. Basically, he figures out a way to do anything, and so it's really weird because I think as a parent you stress like, oh my gosh, you know, I'd love to carry the load for my son, I'd like to do this, I like to do that. And he's just happy. He doesn't know any better, right?
I will do my best.
I will do my best.
One's closer to you number. That should be.
Ross and Tommy are both boys, and I like both of them because they're nice to me. Tommy doesn't go to my school, but Ross does.
Turn into TV.
Right.
So at the first day of Cub Scouts, my mom told me to look out for Brady, and I've been looking out for him ever since. I mean, I don't care that he's shorter than everybody. I won't judge him by that. No matter how tall you are, size matters not.
And how does metatropic dysplasia help you get a lot of friends?
Well, it helps me get friends because, like, some kids think that, like, hey, that kid has a rare disease, why don't we go be friends with it?
What's the best thing about having metatropic dysplasia?
Being special.
The kids are smart. They are capable of functioning in this society.
Brady's one of my really top achieving students. He's nothing different. The only physical difference is his chair. That's it. Other than that, you kind of forget he's different at all. I mean, he's just like every other child in my class. He can do everything we do. He does it to the best of his ability. He's a great student. If he can't do something, he never once complains. He always does everything that he's asked. And he just sort of adapts it to what's comfortable for his back and his body. And he just adjusts it in like the Brady fashion.
Brady Novine and his family overcome adversity on a daily basis, but they never let it get them down. Indeed, they can't do things like other families normally would, but instead they find a new way, a better way, the Brady way.
Technology has made life easier for many disabled people, including those in our next story from Shrewsbury, Massachusetts. This small suburban town is home to a diverse, friendly group of people in a school district with 9 schools and more than 6,000 students from pre-K through high school. One of those students is preschooler Hunter Sargent, who uses his iPad every day to communicate with the world. Let's join Hunter and his iPad.
Here at Parker Road in Shrewsbury, Massachusetts, preschool students are given the opportunity to play, learn, and make new friends. But one of these students, Hunter, is also nonverbal. 30 years ago, this may have posed a challenge with partaking in everyday activities. But today, Hunter can utilize an app called Proloquo to Go that can voice his sentences based off of the pictures he selects.
I want. Milk. I want milk.
Assistive Technology specialist Colleen Gorman explains this further.
PECS is an acronym for Picture Exchange Communication System, and that is using most likely Mayer Johnson or symbol stick pictures to create low-tech picture, maybe this size pictures, where the child will hand it to the person to tell them what they want. Proloquo to Go is a transition of a higher tech communication device where the child can use the app to formulate sentences, or you could even program in a full sentence on one button, and they can communicate their thoughts out that way with a voice output already built in, so you don't have to voice it for them.
But the key reason why students like Hunter are able to attend regular public schools are due to acts such as the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, also known as the IDEA Act, as well as the Universal Design for Learning.
Assistive technology ties into the IDEA Act by leveling the playing field. It allows those students to use tools to be in the regular ed classrooms or to learn at the best of their abilities. And universally designed, it incorporates them into everything they need. So it's not excluding them, it's finding ways to get those get all the children into those classrooms and to make it accessible to them.
But universal design doesn't just stop at the classroom. These types of accommodations can also be applied everywhere, and even make it possible for people with disabilities to live independently.
It's absolutely possible to live independently. There's technology available to provide full access for information in the home. This would include light systems to alert for different sounds in the environment, doorbells, fire alarms, baby monitors. There's closed captioning for the television. There's a video chat system, which would be like Skyping with sign language. There's Braille telephone keypads, and there are guide dogs that would assist with daily living skills.
Perfectly exemplifying this ideal is fourth-year MIT student Jen Tylock. While she is visually impaired, adaptive technology has helped her to live a normal and independent life.
I think the biggest technology I use is a screen magnifier on my laptop, so it zooms in the whole screen. So if the screen is like this big, I only see like part of the screen, and I have to like move the mouse to see other parts of the screen. But I use that to do anything on the computer pretty much. And then I have a CCTV. It's like a computer monitor kind of screen with a tray underneath that you can put paper, and it magnifies the paper and puts it on the screen, so then I can like slide the paper around and read using the monitor, and that can zoom in things. And then I have a smaller handheld version of that that's like 3 by 5 maybe inches, and I can use that for like, the CCTV isn't very portable, so the handheld one, I use that if I'm on the go or reading menus and things like that.
But there are still some limitations as to what Jen can do.
She'll never be able to drive. Her hope would be that there will be driverless cars that she'll be able to use one day. Bicycling, she can't really do that safely, but a way to get around that is to use a tandem bike. Things that are difficult for her, like going to a supermarket and not knowing where things are, or to find them on the shelf. So she typically would, every time she goes, would get the same things because she knows exactly where they are. And socially, her issue is she can't really see faces or recognize faces. So if she meets someone one day and a couple of days later she's walking down the hall and they're like, "Hi, Jen," and she doesn't really know who it is because she can't recognize their faces.
However, as the capacity for technological innovation increases, so does the quality of adaptive technology, giving new hope to people like Jen or Hunter.
Living near the beach is a dream for most people, and our next story is from the village by the sea, Carlsbad, California. With a 7-mile stretch of businesses and houses on the Pacific Coast in Southern California, downtown Carlsbad is the hot spot for locals, tourists, and Carlsbad High School's more than 3,000 students. Located on Lancer Way, Carlsbad High School is known for the prestigious academic and athletic programs, as well as an award-winning broadcast journalism program. With so much to offer, Carlsbad is home to over 110,000 individuals, including 18-year-old Andrew Lee. We visited with Andrew.
Through these doors and up this ramp, you'll find an 18-year-old boy named Andrew Lee. Though living in your average California beach home, Andrew leads a very different life compared to your everyday teenager.
It's called osteogenesis imperfecta. It's where I can break bones easily. Like most people's bones, they don't, like the collagen is like normal, but my collagen is like weak, so that's how I break bones easily.
Even though Andrew lives with brittle bones, he finds no reason to set a limit on his life.
But like I can still do most of the things that they're doing. Like if I want to become a millionaire, I can become a millionaire. Like I can still do things, but I have to do it maybe differently.
Despite his optimism to find different ways to do things, Andrew recognizes the activities he is physically unable to do.
Well, I have to like be like careful. Like I can't play like normal sports, so like I have to like play research sports.
There was an organization here in San Diego, the Adaptive Sports and Rec Association, that had an annual wheelchair adaptive sports camp. And so we signed him up for that, and that started him off. He's very unhappy if a week goes by and we don't get to play tennis, so that's been a very good thing.
I can still do like this, both like my friends, but actually doing it real stuff, it's like pretty difficult. It's not fun, but it's like I'm finding new ways to have fun. Those are all the tennis trophies I won. 2 games to mine, Charlie. Told you I'm making a comeback.
Through his optimistic outlook on life, an ability to find an upside to every situation, Andrew finds the silver lining to his inability to compete in many sports.
It's like, okay, I can't do that, but it's like I can at least go support them. I could do my friends. It's like, it's better to support them than not go. It's like, probably means a lot to them that they're getting support from their friends.
He's pretty loud. I can hear him across the court, just anything he says. And I know he's always cheering for us, and I know he's always supporting us, so it's helpful. You know, I can kind of always count on him if I come to school and I'm having a bad day or if I'm tired or anything like that. I just look over and just see a smile on his face, and he's always yelling and he's always excited, so you know, it's always nice being around him.
Andrew's positivity has helped him realize that his life is limitless.
He wants to be in the middle of the action, which, yes, at times freaks Mom out because he's got the brittle bones.
You can do anything that everybody who friends can do. If you let life affect you, then like what's worth living? If you be positive, then most people will be positive.
It's just really going to be how much he wants to just force open those doors. It requires more effort than a lot of other kids, but he's also a strong kid.
Some days are tougher than others, but for Andrew, giving up is not an option.
If I give up, then I can be helpless. I want to try and be helpful and do things. Like, I want to make movies about disability and like how to live with like disabilities. Like, don't let the disability affect you. Like, don't ever give up. There's always a light and then a tunnel, so look to the light no matter what.
Hopefully he's learned that if he puts the energy and effort into something that he can achieve a great deal.
Andrew believes that with the right attitude, he can overcome any challenges coming his way and accomplish his dreams.
If you be positive, then you live a happy life. You want to live leave a legacy. Look at the good things in life, not the bad things.
The optimism and hopefulness that Andrew and his city offer is much like that of the Southern charm found in Texas. Welcome to the small but fast-growing community of Royse City, Texas. During the last 10 years, the population has almost tripled in size, from 3,000 to nearly 12,000. The high school has just over 1,500 students who come from a variety of different backgrounds. However, even as the town continues to grow, the small town atmosphere has stayed the same. Here, you'll find a one-of-a-kind program that combines the life skills of special needs students with other students who are part of their regular high school classes. Here's a glimpse of their program.
Royse City High School is home to a program which maximizes relationships between life skills special needs students with other high school students. The program, known as Partners PE, not only provides physical educations, but also healthy activities and builds friendships.
Well, pretty much. I try to keep it like any normal PE class. And all kids will come in and my partners will immediately partner up with the life skills kids.
We like to play games. Well, first when we get there, we just walk around for a little bit and chill and talk about our day for a little bit.
Get to hang out with friends and get to know them. And some of the things that people actually tell I'm good at is football and stuff like that.
So we all say hey to all of our pals, like Veronica, and then we'll usually just get started on whatever activity Coach Morrill has planned for us for the day.
We participate in it, and we have fun with our friends, and we love our friends in PE.
You know, the kids kind of have to be recommended. We don't just take anybody who wants the class. We take kids who really have a heart to work with our kids.
I went to a camp one summer. It was called Camp Barnabas, and it was a special needs camp. So I went for a week and just hung out with special needs kids. And then I went into high school.
Coach came up to me and he told me all about it and what it was, and it sounded like tons of fun. And ever since I've joined it, I've loved it.
I had wanted to join because I had seen the relationships that students who had been in the program had built with the Partners PE students. and I just wanted to be a part of that.
The program has achieved many benefits. The life skills students have forged relationships with other students that they may have never even met prior to the class. And the students learn that special needs kids really aren't that different from themselves.
I'm able to get along with people and not fight anymore like that, and be able to react with people and have fun.
It's my favorite class of the day. I've had it for 2 years. I love it every day. It's just loads of fun. Puts a smile on my face.
There's no discrimination. There's no prejudice. There's no hate. The class is all about love and taking care of each other and helping each other and being there for each other and supporting each other no matter what.
My favorite time is when I hang out with sometimes Liddy.
Yeah.
So.
One time, actually, before I joined Partners PE in school, I knew Avery like outside of school through church and stuff, and I went to one of her birthday parties.
Yeah.
And we jumped on the trampoline. It was so much fun. Mm-hmm. That was awesome.
That was.
Yeah.
Sadly, my trampoline broke.
Oh. But that's okay.
I think they feel more accepted. They're like anyone else. They want to be able to walk down the hallway and see someone they know and say hi, or walk with a friend, or have somebody, to eat lunch with. They're just like everyone else in that way. They want to be included, and I think that that's really helped with that.
In the end, this program teaches us that we share many more similarities than differences.
Our next story comes to us from Apple Valley's Eastview High School in Minnesota. Apple Valley, a suburb of Minneapolis, is home to many parks and lakes that people enjoy year-round, doing things like ice skating in the winter and hiking in the summer. Most high schools have programs for disabled students, but what happens when these students graduate? Some students from Eastview move on to a program offered at Bethany Global University that gives them new opportunities. Let's take a closer look at this program.
An open-ended question.
This isn't your average class at Bethany Global University. This is Beyond Limits, a program designed for students with disabilities who want to further their education after high school.
This program, it really provides just a normal lifestyle and a normal culture for students with disabilities that haven't experienced that at all. Most of their life is spent with their family or in programs where they're mostly with people that have disabilities.
I think that we need to start talking about students with disabilities attending college like it really could happen and like it's normal.
Main focus of the program is to help them grow in independence, and hopefully they can lead a semi-independent life after graduating.
The students in the program are no different than anyone else. They hold their own job and have housing both on campus.
I work in food dinner prep for cooking the supper.
I'm in cleaning crew. We clean the bathrooms and then we clean everything.
Yeah. Do you like it?
Better than my dad. Sometimes I like to go out and make another new friend, and I enjoy.
They're not people with disabilities anymore. They're just people that hang out with them.
Beyond Limits is a big part of my life, and I feel like I'm a big part of theirs, and just the friendship that we have within the community.
It enriches our lives so much, just having the Beyond Limits students as our friends.
To move this forward and to really have no limits, I think that we have to start thinking about college for students with disabilities. And when you guys go to college, if there aren't students with disabilities at the campus that you've chosen, you should speak up and you should start asking them, how come there's no students with disabilities here?
Special ed programs and students have made great strides. But what happens next for adults with disabilities is expanding their opportunities and inclusion in society.
After high school and college, career opportunities can also be limiting for disabled people. 70% of visually impaired adults are unemployed or underemployed. but Lindsay Duhon has made the leap to a successful career in Lake Charles, Louisiana, known for good food and good times. Cajun and Creole cuisines of gumbo, boudin, and boiled crawfish are some of the tastiest foods in the country. The town known as Lake Charles is located in the southwest corner of Louisiana on Interstate 10, almost halfway between New Orleans and Houston. The high school, Lake Charles Boston Academy, is home to a teacher who gives back to the school from which she graduated. We'd like to introduce you to her.
Lindsay Duhon communicates with sign language in her own silent world. She lost her hearing when she contracted spinal meningitis when she was 11 months old.
I have many challenges. All my life, and I still do today.
Duhon didn't go to any special schools for deaf children. She attended public schools in Lake Charles, Louisiana. The schools provided interpreters and note takers to assist her, but college was a different story.
I had to fight hard to get a certified interpreter and note takers in my class. And finally, I think it was my second year at McNeese, I was able to get an interpreter and I had a note taker. It finally all worked out. My grades were a lot better that second year because it did hurt my grade the first year.
Duhon met Corey, her future husband, in college.
First time I met her, I didn't know a lick of sign language. I went home to the library, studied books, checked out a bunch of books, videos, YouTube. Went back the next night to the bar where I saw her and learned the only sentence I knew. Asked her if she'd like to play golf with me after church tomorrow, and she told me no.
Duhon graduated from McNeese State University with a bachelor's degree.
She got awarded, when she graduated McNeese, she was the first completely deaf person to graduate McNeese, which I didn't realize it, but it was a pretty good accomplishment.
After college, Duhon worked as a graphic designer for a phone book publishing company.
She liked art. She liked the visual parts of everything, and she was an amazing artist. She was good at it. It kind of took her away from the hearing world by drawing and on paper.
The company relocated, so she had to find a new job.
My friend suggested I try substitute teaching for little kids, little deaf children, and I enjoyed it. So they asked me to keep going to become a teacher, to continue my education, and so I agreed to it and said, why not?
Duhon headed back to college to get her master's degree in deaf education. Now she's teaching back at her old high school.
She teaches our deaf and hard of hearing students in a self-contained environment.
She's changed many kids' lives, so that's the biggest part for her. I guess teaching is one of the truest jobs where you can actually, enriching kids' lives and change lives for the better. So
she's just a phenomenal role model for our deaf and hard of hearing students here, and I just love what she does and what she represents.
The students calling her 5 years later and 3 years later, and later on, just her telling their stories about how she changed their life and how she gives them encouragement.
Advances in technology have had a huge impact on the lives of Duhon and her students.
Technology is amazing, especially for deaf people. We are able to do a lot of things that we weren't able to do, before. Like I can make a video call to make an appointment with my kid's doctor.
After school, Duhon heads home to her own children.
She's a great mother with 2 kids and a husband, so she leads a pretty normal life. So I think that's great.
Deaf people can do anything but hear. I'm sure you've heard that phrase before, but really we can do anything. If we focus in on something and we try, we can paint, we can sew, we can dance, the only thing we can't do is sing, of course.
Nothing stops her. From going to the movies, through the drive-through, she works through it. Most people give up, but she doesn't. She's going to finish at 100%. It may be harder, it may take her longer, but she's going to get it done. So I guess that's why it's pretty amazing with her.
Across the country, our 6 high school teams have found stories of people who, though challenged, are moving to live beyond limitations. They are embracing all of the advances offered to them, and they are making progress for their futures. Though life may still be difficult for individuals and families, all of them have been able to live with no limits.